Goat versus fish. In the beginning, there was goat versus fish. The GoatVsFish. And goat versus fish said that there should be goat and that there should be fish. There is no alpha or omega. There is no black or white. There is no good or evil. There is only goat and fish. And goat versus fish. Welcome to the GoatVsFish podcast, recorded live at the world-famous Comedy Store in Los Angeles. GoatVsFish speaks to you now. Speaks to you now. You. Yes, you. You are part of GoatVsFish, forever GoatVsFish. And GoatVsFish is a part of you. You have many questions, yes? Who is goat versus fish? What is goat versus fish? Why is goat versus fish? But there is only one question. Are you goat or are you fish? But wait, cries the one. I am neither goat nor fish. I am some other thing that is not a goat or a fish. One may call oneself by many names. A bird, a bear, a dragon. But just as there is no dragon, there is no bear. And just as there is no bear, there is no bird. And just as there is no bird, there is no one that is neither goat nor fish, but the fence-sitter. If you choose neither goat nor fish, then you are a fence-sitter. And a fence-sitter by any other name still sits on the fence. And it was written, and it was written. Goat yoga. Goat versus fish did see many ones moving, posturing, posing as the very goats did frolic around them and on them, many goats seeking to versus a fish. Is yoga goat or fish? Today it is goat. Today it is very goat. One called Peter Corriveau, who does celebrate this goat yoga, says, "Who doesn't love baby goats? Who doesn't love baby goats? A fish? Does a fish love baby goats? Does a goat love baby fish? Is a baby a goat or a fish? And where is fish yoga? Where is fish yoga? Perhaps the fish rejects it, or perhaps there's a secret fish yoga known only to the fish, known only to the fish. Or perhaps the fish do the goat yoga, infiltrating the very goat they are versus. What say you, goat? What say you, fish? Celebrate goat yoga. Celebrate goat. Celebrate goat versus fish. Today, goat versus fish speaks to a one. The ones call each other by many names, and this one, what do the ones call this one?
Andrea.
This one they call Andrea. Are you goat or fish, Andrea? Are you goat or fish?
Definitely goat.
Definitely a goat. It is another goat. Goat versus fish is very pleased that you are a goat. You are confident that you are a goat. Yes, very confident that you are a goat.
Yes.
For how long have you known that you are a goat? In the beginning, did you know that you were a goat?
In the beginning, I didn't know what I was.
In the beginning, you knew not. Had you heard the word of goat versus fish? Yes, goat versus fish has seen this one. Goat versus fish recognizes this one. At Me's West Side Comedy Theater, yes? Goat versus fish did speak to many ones there, and you were among the ones, yes?
Yes. That's when I heard the word.
That's when you heard the word of goat versus fish, yes. And what did you feel? What did this one feel when this one heard the word of goat versus fish?
I felt I could only be goat.
Felt you could only be goat. What a fish? Why not a fish? Why not a fish?
Fish are fluid, slippery, untrustworthy. I believe that goat are strong, brave,
Yes.
hardened by the world in a way that fish cannot be.
Fish cannot be. A fish cannot be.
Yes,
Yes.
I must be goat.
Has this goat ever versus a fish?
I don't think I have.
You've never versus the fish.
I've eaten the fish.
You have eaten the fish. This goat consumes the very fish. Consumes the very fish. Many goat have said they consume the very fish. Why do you consume fish? Why does this goat prefer to consume fish as a way to versus the fish?
Because sushi is a wonderful delight.
Sushi.
Yes,
Sushi is fish.
it is.
Sushi is fish.
It is.
Is there no goat sushi? Is there no sushi that is goat?
I do not believe there is.
There is no sushi that is goat. You have heard it from the goat. You have heard it from the goat. Now, of course, all things are goat and fish. But sometimes the goat and fish, they do things that at first seem not to be either goat or fish. Are there things that this goat does that do not seem goat or fish?
I do swim.
This goat swims. Swims in the sea?
Yes.
You go to the sea. The goat are of the land and the fish are of the sea, yes, but this goat goes to the sea. This goat goes to the sea to versus the fish, yes? Always to versus the fish?
Always to versus the
Yes,
fish.
yes.
To catch the fish. To
Some-
eat the fish.
To eat, yes, to eat the... You said you
Yes.
ate the fish, yes.
Yes.
Sushi is of the sea. Sushi is of the sea. You find sushi in the sea.
Well, kind of. First, you must take the fish from the sea.
Take the fish from the sea. Take it from the very place of which it is.
Yes.
This is a very sophisticated way to versus the fish.
Yes.
You say do not go to the sea. You say take the fish from the sea and bring it to the land of the goat.
Yes.
Yes.
Take the enemy to the territory that it is not from.
Yes.
Yes.
And you find an advantage here. An advantage on the land with the fish.
The fish cannot live on the land.
The fish are of the sea, yes.
They're of the sea.
Yes.
Once I bring the fish to the land, the fish are at my mercy. I can consume the fish. I can versus the fish by consumption.
Then why? Why, goat? Why then do you swim? Why then do you swim in the sea if you could always bring the fish to the land? This is curious. This is curious to goat versus fish.
To better know my enemy.
To better know the enemy.
You must know the fish to fight the fish. You must know the fish to versus the fish. How
Yes,
can I
speak.
know I am goat if I do not know what is fish? If I do not know my other, how may I know what I am?
What do you say? What do you say to your fellow goat? What do you say to your fellow goat that they may know the fish better? Some goats do not wish to go to the sea. Some goats do not want to be near a fish, wish to versus from afar. What do you say to these goats? What do you say to your fellow goat?
My goats must be brave. They must learn the enemy. They must gather knowledge. They must always seek knowledge of the fish to versus the fish.
Is there a risk? Is there a risk, goat?
There is a risk in loving the fish, in knowing the fish. You must in your mind always keep verses, always keep that fish are delicious.
Are you pleased that the fish are delicious?
I am.
You are.
Yes.
The fish pleases you.
I take much pleasure in the deliciousness of the fish.
Yes. And this pleasure of the fish does not tempt you to become a fish?
Not yet. I have not been so weak as to become a fish.
Yes, not so weak as to become a fish. Not so weak as to become a fish. But what of the strong fish? Are there any strong fish? Are there any fish that are stronger than any goat? What does this goat say? What does this goat say? And what does this goat say about goat yoga? What does this goat say about the goat yoga?
There are some fish that are stronger than goat. There are some fish that could eat goat. A shark, perhaps.
Yes.
But mostly I believe that the goat are stronger than the fish, especially on land.
Yes.
But I do believe that the goat is strong but flexible and lends itself well to goat yoga.
Yes.
The goat has many positions that it can twist its body.
Oh, yes.
To get out of fences, to cause trouble for farmers.
This goat has been in the fence? This goat has been in the fence with the very fence sitters that choose neither goat nor fish?
Yes.
Yes.
Been trapped by the fence, had to get away from the fence.
Yes.
Yes.
This goat has been to the sea. This goat has been to the land. This goat has been to the fence. This goat has been many places, yes. And what did this goat learn in the fence? Would this goat be tempted to stay on the fence, to sit on the fence and choose neither goat nor fish? No. And why not? What do you say to the fence sitter?
The fence is an uncomfortable place to be. The fence can only trap you. There's no comfort in the fence.
Some fence sitters say there's much comfort on the fence. Some fence sitters delight in being on the fence. GoatVsFish does not believe them. Of course, it must be terrible. It must be terrible to be on the fence, yes?
It is an awful place.
It is a terrible place. It is a terrible place to be, but at least the fence sitter has heard the word of GoatVsFish.
This is true.
You are a goat.
Yes.
Do you know any other goat? You have said you do not know any other fish, but what of other goat? Have you allied yourself with other goat to versus the fish?
I have not yet known my brother and sister goats, but I do believe
what is a brother and a sister?
Kindred. Other goats.
Yes, you do not know other goats.
I do not know other goats.
There is no brother and sister. There is only goat and fish.
There is only goat and fish.
Yes.
But I do believe that I know many goat that have not yet revealed themselves to me to be goat.
Yes, there are many goat who do not yet know they are goat, for they have not heard the word of GoatVsFish.
This is true.
Yes,
This is true.
But you would spread the word. You would spread the word of GoatVsFish, would you not? How would you
Goat.
spread the word of GoatVsFish?
Well, I think T-shirts are a great idea.
T-shirts. Are they goat or fish, these T-shirts?
Only goat, of course.
Yes, only goat. Yes, spread the goat with more goat, yes.
Yes, of course.
Yes. Showing the goat at all times, being the goat at all times.
Of course. But into the waters I still go.
Into the waters, still going. This is the fearless goat. Are you a fearless goat?
I believe I am.
You believe you are a fearless goat. But you know you are a goat, yes? You know you are a goat.
Yes.
Before GoatVsFish. In the beginning there was GoatVsFish, yes, but before you heard the word of GoatVsFish and knew not that you were a goat, what was this one?
How else can I define myself but by goat or by fish? Long ago, I suppose I was what they might call an artist, a painter of paintings. Sometimes with goat or sometimes with fish, I painted these paintings. But sometimes before this, I also might have called myself a comic. I might have called myself a woman.
Yes, many things that are not goat or fish, yes. All fence sitters, the lot of them. Fence sitters, the lot. And do you have any final words? Any final words for your fellow goat? For your fellow goat? Or to the fish or the fence sitter? Now is the time. Now is the time to speak.
Beware, fish. Goat will come for you. Beware, fence sitter. There is no solace in your rest. There is only goat.
There is only goat. There is only goat versus fish. Thank you. Thank you, goat. Thank you for being with GoatVsFish.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, always thank GoatVsFish. Always thank GoatVsFish. And now we sing in celebration of GoatVsFish. Goat versus fish versus fish. Goat versus fish versus fish. Goat versus fish. Goat versus fish. Thank you for joining GoatVsFish. You have now heard the word of GoatVsFish. The theme music for this episode was an offering by Mchinery On Soundcloud, also known as Josh W. from Westchester, New York. Is it goat or fish? We still do not know. And if you, one who listens, has a song for GoatVsFish, do send it to GoatVsFish@gmail.com. Do send it. Follow GoatVsFish on all social media. The Instagram, the Book of Faces, the Twitter, all at GoatVsFish, all at GoatVsFish. Join the Goat vs. Fish discussion group on the Book of Faces to discuss Goat vs. Fish with other goat and fish. And when you are out in the land and the sea, look about you. Look about you. Find one who is lost. Find one who does not know the way. And ask. Simply ask. Are you goat or are you fish? Are you goat or fish? Are you goat or fish? Thank you for being part of Goat vs. Fish. I am Goat vs. Fish, the GoatVsFish. And it was written, and it was written.